Hare Krishna. So we are discussing this Ajamila section where sixth canto different episodes we are seeing. In the Ajamila section, first the initial discussion. So we have seen that Parikshit Maharaj has asked questions that how the living entity who are suffering in hell can be delivered. So for that, Shukadeva Goswami, so with that compassion he asked, Shukadeva Goswami, he told that prayaschitta one can do. So just like different severity of the diseases, the doctor may suggest different medicines like that. If someone has committed less sin, they may have to do less kind of severity of atonement. Or if they have committed more sin, then they have to do more atonement, like that he suggests. But Parikshit Maharaj did not accept that proposition because he told that Prayashchittam is like the elephant taking a bath. After taking bath, it will come again and pour dust. So like that, people may commit sin and they may do some atonement. But after that, because since the sinful tendency is there, still they will again commit the same sin again. So therefore, it is of not much use. So like that, Parikshit Maharaj objects for the atonement. So then, Sukadeva Goswami suggests Jnana Kanda. He says that real atonement is actually knowledge. So, because you are correct, whatever fruitive activity one does, that cannot be contracted through another fruitive activity. So therefore, you perform jnana, that is the real atonement, and he suggests something. But again, the jnana path also has some limitations. It will not, the seed of the seed of sin, ignorance is not completely removed. So therefore, seeing the dissatisfaction of uh, Parikshit Maharaj, he actually suggests the path of bhakti because even after bamboo is burnt, again there is a chance of revival of that bamboo trees. So therefore, he suggests the bhakti marga. Kechit kevalaya bhaktya. Some people they perform bhakti, kevalaya bhakti, who are dedicated to Vasudeva. They completely remove their sin, just like when sun removes the fog. So in this way, he suggests bhakti. So and then that bhakti is has the capacity to remove all the sins that we have discussed. Even small glimpse of bhakti is also sufficient. So that service to devotees that will purify a man more than the like other austerities and atonement. So bhakti is the most auspicious path because there is no fear of any obstacle. It is followed by great personalities. So just like he will give an example that like a liquor pot is there, even if you wash with so many rivers, it will not be cleansed. Similarly, atonement doesn't lead to purification. So still the sinful tendency will be there. It is very, very slow. So, but on the other hand, devotees, if they don't, like, even if they remember Lord in their minds also, they will not see even Yamadutas, even in dreams also. So, like that, we have discussed the glory of bhakti. So, here, in order to prove that statements, all this thing, one case study is being presented. So, this is the case study of Ajamila. So Ajamila, there like this pastime that comes is that this is narrated. Ajamila, this Shukadeva Goswami is initially narrating this pastime. So there is one Ajamila, one in there is one. He is living in the Kanya Kubja. There is a place called Kanya Kubja. So there he was this. He was he lost all, he was a Brahmana. He was born a Brahmana, but he lost all his Brahmanical qualifications because he was associating with a prostitute. So because of that association, he started committing so many sinful activities. So he started like to maintain that prostitute. He was arresting some of the people like that. He was doing so many sinful activities. Like initially he started to maintain by dharmically, but since he was not able to do, he started doing adharmic activities like doing thievery and arresting other people. So like that. So in that way, his whole life, 88 years of his life passed in just maintaining that in a simple way. So whole life he was committing kind of sin only, maintaining that prostitute. And whole life he was like kind of producing so many children. So he had 10 children. Out of them, youngest Narayana, youngest son was named as Narayana, and he was very dear to him. So he was 88 years old. At that age also, he had a very small child. So that means at that time also he has a lot of enjoyment tendency. Somehow, by like some Ajnata Sukriti, or like some say that some with the association of some devotees, like some sadhus have come to his home, and they kind of understood his fallen condition. So they told, "Oh, he is your youngest son, right? You can name him as Narayana." Like that, they showed some mercy and they went away. So therefore, that youngest son was called as Narayana, and because he is very youngest, he was very dear to that personality. So Ajamila, he was like because he is youngest, his words are very small children, very their broken language, awkward movements. They are all very pleasing. So therefore, Ajamila was very much attached to that youngest child Narayana's activities. He was he is taking care of that child. So whatever activities that like whenever he is eating, Narayana come eat. Whenever he is drinking something, Narayana come drink. So he is taking him. So like that, he was always calling Narayana, Narayana, do this, do that, like that. So because of attachment. So in this way, he was passing his life, and he did not understood that death was coming. So in general, like Bhagavatam states that people in general, they may forgetful about death, but death will be never forgetful about them. So in that way, Bhagavatam mentions. So death has approached him. So that time, because death has approached him means some Yamadutas they have approached. So when that death means basically the all his bodily limbs they are all very weak. So he understood that he was going to die. So he at that time seeing Yamadutas, he was exclusively thinking about his son Narayana. So at that time he saw three Yamadutas. These Yamadutas are very fearful. They have like Vaktratunda means twisted faces. Urdhva means like their hairs were like kind of standing on end. So it's like very fearful. And then like they are having what is called as Yama Pasha. So they carry this Yamadan, which is like they have a certain like we know from Bhagavad Gita that a person has two kind of bodies, right? One is actually a soul, but soul is living in subtle body, and that the subtle body is living in a grass body. So both subtle body and grass body both are material, but the soul is spiritual. So person when he is leaving his body, he leaves his grass body here, but his subtle body will be carried by the Yamadutas, or his subtle body will be carried to his next life. So in this way, these Yamadutas, they are trying to snatch the uh, subtle body of the Ajamil. Basically, they are snatching Yamadutas, snatching Ajamila and his subtle body, Ajamila. So when that in this way, that is like very painful because generally people will have lot of attachment to the bodies. So therefore, because of that, the because of that, he was seeing his son Narayana who was playing there. So out of very painfully, he was attached to Narayana also. So somehow he chanted the name of Narayana by calling very loudly. So just as soon as he chanted the name Narayana, four Vishnudutas have appeared there. So four Vishnudutas because he has like Narayana, he has like four words, so four letters. So he has four Vishnudutas appeared like that also. Some people commented. So because this Narayana, the Ajamila chanted the name of Lord Narayana, these Vishnudutas, whose master is Vishnu, they heard that this dying person from his mouth, their master's name has come. So just by hearing that their master's name has come from this dying person, immediately they have come here to save that person. So immediately as these Yamaduta, they are dragging this Yajamila from this body. So immediately they stop, don't drag this Ajamil from here. So like that, they kind of stopped. So when the Yamadutas, when they saw these personalities and when they understood that they were stopping them, they understood that they were more powerful than them. So they kind of replied, "Who are you? Why you are stopping us from taking this person? Why are you objecting the jurisdiction of Yamaraj? So Yamaraj has his jurisdiction everywhere. So why are you objecting?" So like that, they kind of objected. From where, what servants are you? From where you have come? From where you have come? Whose master are you? Like who is your master kind of thing? Why are you forbidding for touching this body of Ajamil? So are you some devatas or some upadevatas or some siddha sattama means some siddha purushas? So like that they kind of asked. Hmm? And also they glorified that your forms they are very very beautiful. Hmm? Like Vishnu Duta's form is also similar to Lord Vishnu. Sarve Padma Palasaksha, all their eyes, they are looking like lotuses. Pita Kausheya Vasasa, they are wearing nice yellow, silken yellow garments. And Kiritina Kundila, they have nice Kirita, they have nice kundalas. Lasat Pushkara Marina, like shining garlands they are wearing. Sarvecha Nutana Vayasaha, they have very, very youthful bodies, their age. Sarve Charu Chaturbuja, very nicely they are having four hands. Dhanur Nisha Angasi Gada, in their four hands, they are carrying bow and a quiver of arrows and Asi sword and club and also conch shell, disc, ambuja, lotus flower. So in this way, they are all decorated with so many wonderful, ornaments also. And Disho Vityurima Loka means their effulgence is like kind of removing all the darkness. So why you are looking so beautiful, but why are you acting in this way improperly? Why are you objecting Yamaraja's activities? Why you are forbidding this activity, this sinful person we are taking? So in this way, these Yamadutas asked Vishnudutas, why you are forbidding us? Then Vishnudutas, when they heard, Vishnudutas started replying that Vishnudutas, they are called Vasudeva Uktakarina, means whatever the will of Vasudeva, they kind of carry that will. So, so what they told that uh, their Vishnudutas, their voice is said to be mega nirhadaya, just like a cloud when it rumbles, it is very grave. So like that they are speaking. So if you are really, they started saying that if you are really the servants of Yamaraj, Dharmaraj, so Yamaraj is also called Dharmaraj. So if you are nearly the servants of Yamaraj, then please tell about the principles of Dharma, and also please tell the principles of Adharma. So both principles of Dharma and principles of Adharma you tell. And then also you also please tell like by what means this punishment is uh, given, and what is the process of punishment, and who are all the candidates for punishment. So is it that some people are only punished, or all the people who are working here, they will be punished? So in this way, Vishnudutas, they asked questions to Yamadutas. So we can see, understand here the questions based on that. So basically, Yamadutas, they are doing their duty. They are thinking that this Ajamila is a sin. So therefore they are snatching. And Vishnudutas, they came and forbidden. And then Yamadutas, they asked. So Vishnudutas, they asked. So you are thinking that you are doing Dharma. So you should implement Dharma. So if you know really Dharma, please tell the symptoms of dharma and adharma. So by that we understand whether you are you know dharma or not. So like that they are asking for about dharma. Their discussion is about what is real dharma. So then very nicely these reply Yamadutas, they reply about dharma. So very nicely they explain Yamadutas conversation is very nicely they explain about uh, the like the law of karma basically, or law of dharma, they completely explain. So we'll see the verses and then we'll come. So very like if you carefully study this discussion of Yamadutas, the reply of Yamadutas to the Vishnudutas, the principles of Dharma, law of karma can be understood. So this is basically the Triguna karma, Triguna Dharma means how in this world three gunas act, and in general people how they are punished or rewarded. Law of karma, how does it work? So everything nicely one can understand. So Yamaduta started replying, Yamaduta Uchu. वेदप्रणिहितो धर्म यधर्मस्तद्विपर्ययः वेदो नारायणः साक्षात् स्वयंभूरिति शुश्रुमः. So they are saying whatever the prescribed things by the Veda, that is actually dharma. And tad viparya, whatever is opposite, that is whatever is not prescribed by Vedas, or whatever is forbidden by Vedas, that is actually adharma. So basically they asked what is dharma, what is adharma, and then they kind of replied that actually what is prescribed in Vedas, that is dharma, and what is prescribed, what is obstructed by Vedas, or what is mentioned by Vedas as adharma, that is actually adharma. And what is this Veda? Vedo Narayana Sakshat. So Veda is actually Narayana only has appeared as the Vedas. And uh, these Vedas are also Swayambhu, means they are self-manifested. These are not like written by some mundane person, but they are all coming from the they are all coming from the Lord only. So I mean, that means they are self-appearing. It's not that someone has created these Vedas. So in this way, So Vedas, they are saying that they are appearing self. So therefore, whatever is prescribed by Vedas, that is dharma. Whatever is not prescribed by Vedas, that is adharma. So this is like very important point here. Uh, this very important point means, so generally people may have lot of opinion what is dharma and what is adharma. So this is like clear definition that whatever is prescribed by Vedas, that is dharma, and whatever is forbidden by Vedas, that is like adharma. And these Vedas are all not man-made, but these are all created by Lord Narayana. So this they are saying this we have heard from Yamaraj only. So only like in this way we are not concocting these principles of dharma. Whatever Yamaraj has told, that only we are mentioning. In this way, they have kind of first established the basis for dharma. So then these Vedas, how these like why these are like kind of established, that he is saying. येन स्वधाम्नि अमीभाव रजसत्व तमोमय गुणनाम क्रिया रूपैर विभाव्यन्ते यथा तदम. He's saying that that Lord Narayana, who has created all these Vedas, he resides in his own spiritual world, and from him only all these different bhavas, like different bhavas of tamogun, rajogun, and sattvagun, they are all coming, and they these three qualities, all living entities, they will attain their particular natures, their particular names, their particular activities, their particular forms. So guna nama kriya rupai, if you see, this is the common word. This is like used for the Lord as well as the living entities. But there is a difference between the guna, nama, kriya, rupa of the Lord and the living entities. So living entities, their nama or their rupa is not actually original rupa. Like based on these three qualities, raja, sattva, tamo, they will attain certain rupa, sometimes a human body, sometimes a devata body, sometimes an animal body. So based on that rupa, like suppose if we have some bird, like pigeon or some parrot, so based on that, that rupa is having some particular name. But actually that name can be anything. In English, you can say one thing, and in Telugu one thing. So therefore, that name and that person is only convention for the jiva. And also his activities, certain activities he will do based on those guna. So all these things are material for the jiva. But for the Lord, the name and the Lord, they are non-different. They are the same thing because they are existing eternally. And his activities, his form, they are all intrinsic to him. They are not separate from him. So in this way, the Lord's name, Lord's activities, Lord's guna, Lord's rupa, they are all non-different from the Lord. But the living entity, they are all different. So living entities, they have attained all these things because of these three modes. So according to their particular nature of mode, they will attain particular kind of body. So in this way, according to their nature, different varnashrama duties, they are all have come based on their particular gunas. So all these things, they are all obtained from the Supreme Lord, Yena, the Narayana. So in this way, Lord's how he is establishing this world is they are mentioned. And in this world, whoever is performing their activities, 12 CAD agents, they are all observing. So like CAD agents, we know, right? What do they do? If someone is performing some wrong activity, they will observe secretly without that person's knowing. So like that, in this world also, whoever is performing any activity, they are being observed by 12 people. So they are all mentioned here. Suryo, Agni, so they are like 12 persons. Suryo, Agni, Kam, Marudeva, Soma, Sandhya, Ahani, Disha, Kampu Swayam Dharma iti Yete Dahyasya Sakshinaha. So these 12 persons, they're all observing the they're all observing everyone in this world. Who are all they? Surya, the sun god, Agni, the fire god, Kam, the sky is like kind of observing. And then Marud is the air, Devaha, the Devata, different like the Devatas who are all observing. And then Soma is the moon god. Sandhya, so Sandhya is like it can be evening, like the time between juncture between day and night. So that is Sandhya. Ahani, so Ahani is like day and night. So Ahani is like day, and Disha is different directions. Kam is like water. Kuh is the land, and also Swayam Dharmaraj. So in this way, or it can also be super soul also, the Dharma can imply. So in this way, basically, uh, they are observing the activities of all the living entities. So like these living entities activities, they are all Sakshina. So that means people think that I am doing something and no one is observing. So, but actually, there are so many agents that are anyway super soul that observes everything. But apart from super soul, also there are so many other agents that are watching everyone's activities. So, like they are all observants. They are like witnesses for everyone's activity. So therefore, one should be like one should understand that everyone is observing them. So, because these people are observing, if someone performs some adharma, yetair adharma vijnata sthanam dandasya yujyate. So these all witnesses, they are observing everyone, and kind of they kind of they give that because these are observing. So based on these observations, a punishment will be given to the different like proper place of punishment will be given to persons who perform adharma according to sarve karmanurodhena, according to their activities they have performed. So in this way, dandam like sarve karmanurodhena dandam arhanti karinah. So who are all performing these adharma because of these activities, they they are eligible for danda. Means they are suitable candidates who perform adharma, and these witnesses they witness them. So in this way they will be punished according to their karma. So who are all they have like Vishnu they have asked who are all the candidates for punishment. So there he mentioned that like. Like further they are mentioning that in this world everyone they are in touch with the modes, so therefore everyone performs some simple activities. So they are saying sambhavantahi bhadrani viparitani chanaga. So you are anagas, means you don't have any sin, but in this world uh, everyone performs both Badrani means auspicious activities and Viparitani inauspicious activities, because these people they are in touch with the modes. So as soon as one in touch with the modes, contamination of these three modes, they always perform some action. So because of that, there will be auspicious. Some are when performed in Sattva they are auspicious. But when performed in Rajoguna or Tamoguna, sometimes they can be adharmic activities. So therefore, everyone performs these adharmic activities. So in this way, yena yavan yata dharma, in which way a person performs adharma or dharma according to their activities, in this way they enjoy. Sayeva tatphalam bhunte tada tavat amutravai. In that way, they will enjoy their activities. So clearly, law of karma they are establishing. Like Everyone is under the three modes of material nature. So sometimes they perform auspicious, sometimes adharmic activities. So according to the extent of their adharmic activities or good activities, all those reactions everyone will enjoy in their next life, or in this life, in future life, in this current life also, in future. So in this way, the that there are like in this way, these three based on these three modes, in this way, Trividyam upalabhyate. There are three kinds of attributes, like all the living entities, they can be in sattva guna, rajo guna, or tamo guna. So based on these different gunas, we can see in this world people existing in these three different gunas. So sometimes they are peaceful, sometimes they are restless, sometimes they are foolish. So these are all sattva guna, rajo guna, and tamo guna activities. So when someone is in sattva guna, they will be happy. Someone in uh, Tamoguna, they will be unhappy, and someone is restless, they are in between. So, like that, or sometimes they are Sattva-guna religious, and Rajoguna semi religious, and Tamoguna irreligious. So, like that, based on the three modes, we can observe all different people in different modes. So, based on that, we can understand Tata Anyatra Anumite. So, in this world, we observe people in these three modes. So similarly, by observing, we can also estimate in their next life, they will achieve these three different modes, these three different destinations based on their modes. So they give that example that they how to understand this. For example, they give one example that currently, like different seasons, different people may be experiencing. In India, we are experiencing hot summer here. So seeing this hot summer here, next year also uh, we can estimate that in the next year also same month the hot summer will come, and previous also same in the same months, in the previous years also same hot summer has come. So like that one can estimate. So similarly, by observing the activities of a person, whether he is performing dharma or adharma, so by seeing them, one can also estimate their past or future, or their current suffering or happiness will also indicate their past activities. So this is like similar to Narada Muni's teachings in to Parachini Barhi, where he says that by observing present activities, we can observe what are the activities he has done in the past, and also by observing what are all the things that he is doing now, we can understand what he will be his future destination. So in this way, they say. So in this way, he is like giving some kind of evidence that we can how we can understand. And also, apart from these devatas who are observing, especially Yamaraj, they he kind of he can understand what are all a person did. So manasaiva pure deva purva rupam vipashyati. So just by his mind, the Yamaraj, he can understand what are all the things a living entity has performed. So based on that living entity's activities, he kind of considers what is his future condition. So in this way, he is like, because Lord Super Soul, he assists Yamaraj in ascertaining the living entity's activities. So there is like one nice thing one can understand, that there is a connection of Super Soul. Like everyone has like Paramatma in everyone's heart. So there is like sometime there may be some question that how does spiritual master understands my whether I am doing correctly or not, like that. Sometimes, well, they say, spiritual masters say that actually Paramatma is there in your heart and my heart also. So my Paramatma will indicate what your activities were. So like that kind of reply. So in this way, Yamaraj also, Paramatma is there in Yamaraj's body. He kind of gives what are all the things that living entity has performed. So everyone is empowered by the Lord only to do their duties. So in this way, like when a living entity, when he is in dark, like when he is like he gives one analogy that uh, sometimes a person may be sleeping. So that a person may be sleeping and he may be experiencing like in the sleep based on the dreams. He may act according to the dreams. He may attain certain bodies and act accordingly. So similarly, this like basically they are concluding, they are kind of saying that this whole nature of doing karma and akarma, all these things because of identification with the body. So for that, they are comparing it with a dream. So although dream is not a real, but a sleeping person identifies with the dream and he kind of performs some activity. So similarly, a living entity identifying with a current body, he performs the dharma or adharma activities. And so in this way, he doesn't know what is previous activities and he lost his memory of previous activities, but is currently completely identifying with his current body and performing activities. So how does he performs those activities? That he performs using subtle body. So that subtle body, that composition of that subtle body is kind of being mentioned here. पञ्चभिः कुरुते स्वार्थान् पञ्चवेदात पञ्चभिः एकस्तु षोडशेन त्रीन् स्वयं सप्तदशोऽश्नुते. So Panchabhi Kurute Swartha. So like living entity, he is like having five working senses. Five through these five working senses, he performs some activities for his benefit. And through Pancha Vedata Panchavi, through five Jnanendriyas, he comes to know different things. So in this way, 5 plus 5, and also uh, these these five these five sense organs perceive five elements. So in this way, 15 items are there, and one more element is the mind, which is like 16th element, Shodashena. So in this way, this through these 16 elements, so mind here integrates more subtle body. So those 316 elements, the 17th element he enjoys. 17 Swayam Saptadasho Ashnute. Through so the 17th item is basically the Jiva. Jiva is identifying with this subtle body through mind and these gross and certain senses through which he is like kind of enjoying in this world. So in this way, that Shodasha Kalam, the 16 part subtle body, Lingam, which is like subtle body, Shakti Trayam, which is made of three modes. This is very mahat, very insurmountable or very great. Because of this identification with the subtle body, the living entity he is kind of forgotten his original position. So because of that, he is attaining Harsha, Shoka, Bhaya, Artidam. So this subtle body is giving all these things to that living entity. Sometimes he is happy, sometimes he laments, sometimes Bhaya will come, sometimes misery will come. So all these things, Artidam means which gives. That means this subtle body, this lingam, this subtle body, which is made up of 16 elements, which is made up of three modes of material nature, it is actually it is actually giving him all these different emotions, Harsha, Shoka, Bhaya, and Ati, misery, all these things. So because of that, the living entity, he is rotating in this different types of bodies. So basically, the real cause is identification with the subtle body. Because of that, he is rotating in these three modes. So the living entity, the Dehi, or the living entity who is situated in the Deha, he is Ajna without perfect knowledge, and also Ajita Shadvarga because he has not controlled his six senses, which is like mind and five senses. So because of these uncontrolled senses, he performs activities. Nechan karmani karyate. He performs activities uh, even without his desiring. Na ichan. Although he doesn't desire to perform, but still he performs those activities because he is uncontrolled. So for that, one example is given. Koshakara. Koshakara is silkworm. Koshakara is the silkworm. He kind of uh, he kind of produces some kind of thread, and in the thread which he only produces, he only got entangled in that. So koshakora ivatmanam karmanachadya mukhyati. So just like a silkworm, it gets bound by its own activities. So similarly, the living entity, because of his own karma, he gets bound. So in this way, because he has to act. So someone may say that oh, he why sometimes he may not act also. But no, every living entity has to act. They like Bhagavad Gita similar verse. Naikaschit kshanamapi jatu tishtatya karma krut karyate hi avashak karma gunai swabhavike balat. So a living entity cannot live for a moment also without doing anything. So how nahi kaschit kshanam api, even a kshana, a moment also, he cannot stay without performing any activity. And what activities he perform? Karyatehi avashak karma. He has to do some activity according to gunai swabhavike bala, according to the modes that he has attained through his swabhava. He has to perform some activity bala by force. So in this way, it is said that the living entity, uh, a living entity, he has to always perform some activity, and because of their swabhava. So this swabhava word is very important. So swabhava means basically the acquired kind of modes that he has in this lifetime. So which is basically nothing but the three modes, which composition is stronger. If someone is more stronger with sattva guna, they are having sattva guna swabhava. Someone is more stronger with rajoguna, they are having rajoguni swabhava. Someone is having tamoguni swabhava, like tamogun, that is tamoguni swabhava. So based on that, they perform some activity. So if someone is impelled by sattva guna, they may perform sattvic activities or vice and others also. So basically, they are all impelled by these three modes, and based on that, they perform. That is like balat. It is like by force they perform those activities. So that means no one has to uh, told them do this activity. They are by force of that guna they perform that activity. In this way, therefore, everyone is performing those activities. So in this way, having gotten that labdva nimittam avyaktam yakta vyaktam bhavatyuta. So uh, how these living entities, how they got these different bodies that is being mentioned here. So the living entity, according to one particular their activities, sometimes the pious or impious activities, the these activities create a particular body in the next life according to, so they will get yata yoni yata bijam, they will get yata yoni means according to some mother, yata bijam according to some father. So according to his own natural tendencies activities, he receives particular father and mother, so that particular body. So basically, Karmana Daivana Itrena, that verse we have third canto. Kapil Dev says that Karmana Daivana Itrena Jantur Deha Upapattaye. So Karmana, so by his past activities, which are being observed by Daivanetrena, all the devatas, all the Supreme Lord who is empowered all the devatas to observe. So by that empowerment, by observance, karmana daivanetrena, jantu deha upapatte, jantu, a living entity, he will attain a particular body. So sometimes that particular body, the yata yoni yata vision can be a human body, can be a devata body, can be an animal body, a bird body. So that yoni or bija depending upon his own past activities. So in this way, according to his desires, his activities, he is receiving a particular body that they are mentioning. So all these things, they are all happening because of contact with the prakriti, the material nature. Esha prakriti sangena purushasya viparya. Here purushasya means the living entity. So because of association with the prakriti, the living entity has this awkward position. So because of that, he is entangled in this prakriti. But how can he come out of this whole entanglement? Whole entanglement can come out from Isha Sangha Viliyate. This Prakriti, this association with the Prakriti will go away by contact with the association with the Supreme Lord. So, in this way, very nicely, they kind of describe the law of karma. So, we will see again how they are kind of describing this law of karma. So they are we will see again how they are kind of describing this law of karma. So in law of karma, like in this world, how if someone performs a criminal activity, they are being punished. So what are all the things that are involved in this world if someone performs some crime? So first, the crime. What is the crime? That should be defined, right? What are all the crime that activities needs to be described? And then who are all the criminals who perform that crime that needs to be described? And then there should be some evidence that this person has committed some crime. So some evidence should be there. Who are all? Oh, I have seen this person has performed this theory. So like that, some evidence should be there, or some proof should be there, and that proof should be substantiated by some witness. Like evidence means something is stolen and it is found in his pocket. Witness is I have seen him stealing that money. So that is like witness. And then through which they operate. So is it like he used some scissor to cut the pocket? And then based on all these evidences, some judgment is given. What kind of punishment he should be given? Whether he should be punished with some fine or he should be put in jail for some 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, so like that. So basically, who is the judge? So the judge, high court judge will decide, and the amount of punishment will be decided by the judgment. And how he has to ultimately come out of this problem of thievery, like how this criminal should be rectified. So the solution, what is the solution? So like that, these are all the different elements in this world. A person commits crime and he will be absorbed. So all these things, these Yamadutas, they are kind of observing. So what is the crime? So a crime, first of all, crime needs to be defined, right? So that's why in this world there are law books. So law books, what they say? Oh, if you perform thievery, you will be punished and your punishment will be like this. So like that law books, they kind of define what is crime and they define what are all the different crimes. So all these things. So sin, so similarly Yamadutas, they are saying that whatever acts they perform to enjoy sense gratification because of ignorance, those are all kind of sin. So basically they have kind of defined sin as what are all the things opposed to dharma. Veda pranihito dharma, adharma hi viparyeya. So whatever is prescribed by the Vedas, that is dharma, and whatever is prescribed by whatever is mentioned by Vedas as adharma, that is sin. So just like law books are there, similarly for the living entities, Vedas are there. And in general, that Vedas say whatever activities performed with the mode of ignorance, basically harming others. So like that, those can be some category. In this way, they kind of these are all the sin that they will experience. Sin they have defined. And then who are all the criminals? They said all living beings, because they are identifying with this body, subtle body. So because of that, everyone has to perform something. So all living beings, they become criminals, right? And then what is the evidence uh, that like there should be some evidence for the someone has created done some criminal activity, right? So the evidence is like past, present, and future they have presented. In the past, they may have done some activity, and in the present, they are suffering certain reactions or enjoying certain reactions. And in future also, they may receive according to their activities. So these are all the different evidences they kind of presented. Like we can observe, and based on that, we can understand what activities they have done. So, and then who are all the witnesses? 12 witnesses he has presented. All these people, they are all observing everyone's activities. And what are all the instruments that he used? Some scissor to cut the pocket of a person. So here, this how he is performing the living entity, used utilizing his gross and subtle bodies to perform these activities. So this is like mode of operandi. Who is the judge? So judge is actually Amaraj, who kind of awards punishment based on uh, their activities. So judge is here Yamaraj. And what is the punishment? So punishment will be according to the amount of sin. So based on if he has committed greater sin, he will be punished in greater amount. If he has committed less kind of severity of sin, he will be punished in less proportionate way. So in this way, he will be punished. So what is the solution? Solution, basically they mentioned that Isha Sangat Viliyate. If someone comes in touch with the Isha, the Supreme Lord, then this association with the modes, they will go away. So in this way, like when one comes in touch with the Isha, the Lord, and that Lord is like holy name and other form Nama Rupa Guna Leela of the Lord. So when he comes in touch with them, then he will come out of this whole cycle of law of karma, cycle of birth and death, and this sinful activity. So in this way, very nicely they kind of analyzed the law of karma. Here we can see. So this is law of karma analyzed by the Yamadutas. So basically, in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, there is a discussion how this cycle of suffering comes to everyone. So avidya, kama, karma bhi, like that one phrase will often come in Bhagavatam also. So basically, the living entities, they are pure spiritual, but somehow they came in touch with avidya. So this is the root cause where they come in touch with this material world, avidya, maya. So because of that ignorance, avidya, they kind of develop desire, seed to commit some sinful activity, bijam. So this bija is the desire seed. It kind of because of that sinful desire, it kind of creates some activity to perform. That is sinful activity, sinful action, papa. So because of that sinful action, when he performs that sinful action, he kind of develops two things. Like one is like reaction, one unmanifest reaction, aprartha, and also that proclivity to sin also will increase. When this way, whenever someone performs say wrong activity, two things will happen. One is he will get reaction for that sin, and also his desire to perform that activity will increase. He will increase. So, what are the two side effects whenever a person performs some wrong activity? So, those unmanifest reaction aprarabdha after some time, according to law of karma, after some time, they will manifest. So, they are called as manifest reaction, prarabdha karma. Prarabdha karma means the sufferings that one is undergoing currently, now, at this present time. So, prarabdha karma means some suffering which is manifesting based on our previous sinful action, papa. And there are so many unmanifest reaction, aprarabdha karma that are lying inside, which will manifest in future lives. So whatever sufferings that one is undergoing in this life, that is only a the tip of an iceberg, they say, right? And beside, beneath that, so many volume of mountain of sins, unmanifest reactions are there, which will manifest in future lives, in future also. So in this way, there is avidya, there is bija, papa, prarabdha. And putam is like that proclivity to sin, which is like in very subtle form, which will about to manifest. So basically, in this way, prarabdha, aprarabdha, and suffering, they are all mentioned. So that is how living entities, they are all suffering in this world. This is the cycle of sin, basically. So in order to substantiate that, this Ajamil committed sin like that. Now they elaborately describe the story of Ajamil. So previously, Uchukadeva Goswami mentioned only very briefly, but Yamadutas now elaborate the life of Ajamil, so which we'll see in the next week. So in this way, very nicely, they have kind of described the law of karma. And this section, if one understands, one can understand that how in this world uh, so much dharmic, what is dharma and adharma with respect to three modes that one can understand. So basically, the Yamadutas, they know very nicely the law of nature according to three modes, law of karma, they know perfectly. But what they don't know is bhakti is above this karma. What they don't know is they don't know about parodharma. So because of that, they are kind of arresting Ajamil, who is actually not under the law of karma at that point of time. So that Vishnu Dutas clarify in the next chapter. But at least by reading this section of Yamaduta's conversation, one can understand how law of karma or the three modes they are all working in this world and how a persons will be placed in their next lives. All these are nicely explained in this section. So we'll stop here. If someone wants to add or discuss anything, they can discuss. Otherwise, okay.
Very nice explanation, Prabhuji.
So we'll meet again in the next week. Also, this week we are having a Narsimha Chaturdashi on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Everyone can remember and worship Lord Narsimha Dev on the Wednesday, coming Wednesday it is coming. I think in US, I don't know. Wednesday or Tuesday.
It's 22nd.
22nd Wednesday. So we have not discussed much about Nursing Dev here. Maybe in future it will come.
Sure, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam.
We had the fortune, me and Prabhuji had the fortune of associating with Gauranga Das Prabhu yesterday. Yeah.
Nice.
So he was inquiring about how our Bhagavatam classes are going on.
Nice. Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Gurudev.